don't exercise, yes, exercise, don't bend so hard, don't eat this or that, don't feed that to your child, and so on, are advices which, as far as you're a mom, you must have heard them 1,000 times. If you've not heard them or you've not given them, then you've actually received them. So today, let's talk about how to deal with unsolicited parenting advice or advice during pregnancy. Hello, healthy moms. Good day. Welcome to Inyango. I'm Larissa Livella, and Inyango means mothers. And on this channel, we talk everything about motherhood, from tips and tricks to hacks to everything to make your motherhood journey easy. So today, we're talking about tips to help you deal with unsolicited advice as a pregnant lady or a first-time mom or a parent in general. Because these days, my God, people are just everywhere and saying things which they are not supposed to say, and sometimes putting you in an uncomfortable situation. But today I'm giving you tips on how to just push that away like a dawn. Okay, so I'd like to let us know that the first thing is unsolicited advice which is given without being asked, or advice which is given voluntarily. I want us to understand something. Unsolicited advice, every time we hear it, we always feel like, oh, it's bad advice. But unsolicited advice is not always bad, because I sitting here, it's unsolicited advice I'm giving you, right? Did you ask for this advice? Or maybe you searched for something related to this, but maybe I just popped up on your screen and you're like, let me just watch what she has to say. So what I'm giving you here is unsolicited advice, though it might help you, but yes, it is unsolicited. So unsolicited advice can be positive or negative, and it's left for you to take the one which you want. There are three things which every pregnant lady, most especially pregnant ladies or parents, usually get. The first thing is unsolicited advice. The second is inappropriate comments about maybe something you did. Or the third, really invasive questions. But whatever it is, most of these things come from either friends and family or strangers, and who it comes from determines how you're going to react to it. So first, we are going to be tackling this depending on who says what. Okay, so if these three things are coming from a stranger whom you just met maybe in a supermarket, and you're maybe picking a dress or something for your baby, and they just intrude and be like, I don't like that color, the first thing you can do is just change the topic, right? You can just ask the person, oh, I was looking for a good this or that, and let the person give the opinion somewhere else and not that particular thing which you're buying. Or you could just ignore, make as if you didn't hear. Maybe the person will get the hint and just get out of there. Or you can actually answer, oh yes, that's true. A short and simple answer. So the first one, change the topic, deflect, or ignore, or give a short and simple answer. Now, the second situation is if it is coming from a friend or family. When it's coming from a friend or family, the first thing you can still do is redirect if you're not comfortable with it. The second thing you can do is actually be honest with them and tell them that you don't like talking about that kind of thing, or you don't like talking about that particular part of your pregnancy or your parenting. So you would like if they will talk about something else. The third thing you can do is set boundaries. If you have told them before that you don't like talking about that particular kind of thing and they keep bringing it up, set boundaries and tell them what will happen if they keep bringing up that thing. Because most times we tell people, please don't do this to me, and maybe in their minds they go like, and if I do it, what are you going to do? So to make it easy for them to understand and maybe not repeat it again, you can be like, please don't talk about this next time, I'm not comfortable talking about it. And if you do it again, I might just cut ties, stop picking your calls, or drop a call if you're talking about it on phone. So when they get those consequences, they get more cautious. So those are the three things you can do if it's coming from family. Now, a simple way to deal with all the unsolicited advice or inappropriate comments or invasive questions is, especially when it's coming from the dad, like the father of your baby or in-laws, just be very careful the way you handle it. Just try not to make your emotions be all over the place. Be very simple when you're handling it, and try to be as calm as possible. Now, another thing to do is just blame it on the doctor. If you want to do something and they think you're all crazy, just say, that's what my doctor told me to do, right? And I guess they cannot argue with your doctor because your doctor knows the situation more. right? So that's a simple thing you can do. Another thing you can do is just to stay silent and listen silently. All right, that really helps. Sometimes the silence just is the main thing to do. Other times, if it's something that the person keeps talking and talking, you can just nod while smiling. But you know you won't do it. You nod while smiling. But you have to know that some unsolicited advice actually helps. Some actually helps, especially when it's coming from somebody who cares about you. Just try to take it into consideration. If it is something that is okay with you, you feel like this is okay with me, you can actually take it, right? You will not always be happy with the decisions you take as a parent. Sometimes you'll be like, I wish I took the advice somebody gave me. But what is good is when you take that advice based on what you want, you can easily take the responsibility for it. And if something goes wrong, it won't be so difficult for you to handle it. Than that you took advice from somebody without even thinking about it. And when something goes wrong, you're like, if I knew, I would have listened to that person. It's better that you know that, okay, I took the decision by myself and I'll stand for whatever thing comes out of it, right? And we also have to try to take advice from people whom we know that will be there. So if somebody's giving you advice, know that if it's something which you have to practice, right? Take advice from somebody whom, if it goes wrong, can ask the person, okay, this and this has happened, how do I fix it? Now let me go on to the tips which I brought for you today. For tip number 1, be informed, right? The best way to know what advice is good and what advice is not good is for you to be informed. Read as much as you can read when you're pregnant. Yes, though most times when you actually give birth, you realize that most of the things that you read will not work 100%. But when you are knowledgeable about a certain aspect, you're more confident to face the challenges that might come. So the first thing is for you to be informed. The second thing is for you to seek professional advice. Ask your doctor, ask someone who is very knowledgeable in the field. Don't just go asking anybody, because everybody, as far as his parenting, his motherhood, he has to deal with a child. Everybody has an experience, because we're all children some time ago and we've watched people give birth beside us. We know someone who has given birth, so we know something small. The third thing you can do is to find a role model. Look for a mother or a parent whom you believe in his or her values, right? And take that person as a role model. And if you have questions, you can actually ask this person for advice, knowing that this person's values are similar to your values, or the person's experience is similar to your experiences, or the person is very knowledgeable and actually has interest in you and will not tell you something that is wrong for you to do. The fourth thing you can do is to ignore advice which you're not interested in. You mustn't all right in front of the person say, no, I'm not going to take your advice. No, just ignore. Stay quiet and just nod and smile, as I said before. The next thing you can do is to keep it simple. Just keep it simple. Get counsel from somebody whom you trust their judgments, right? Somebody whom you really believe that this person cares about me and is very knowledgeable in this particular area. Yes, a lot of women have raised kids, but what kind of kids did they raise, right? And the next thing you can do, which is the last thing, is don't sweat small stuff, right? Don't let small things stress you. In pregnancy, you should be really emotional and things should be all over the place, your emotions, your hormones and everything. But don't let some small thing that somebody said to stress you. Sometimes people could really be annoying. Go with what works for you. But what I have to say is, what works for you won't always be the best. Yes, you maybe want the best for your child, but sometimes you can make mistakes too, right? There are times which you can make mistakes. So even when you make those mistakes, forgive yourself, walk out of it, and just know what advice to take and which one to leave. Thank you so much, mommies, for joining me. If you're new here, please do not forget to subscribe. And if this video helps you in any way, please do like the video and share with someone who might be pregnant or a new parent who might be dealing with unsolicited advice from everywhere, from left, right, center, and everywhere. Now a recap of all the tips I brought for you today on how to deal with unsolicited parenting advice. Number 1, keep it simple. Decide who your counsel will be. Number 2, be informed. Number 3, seek professional advice. Number 4, find a role model. Number 5, ignore advice which you aren't interested in. For number 6, do not sweat small stuff. Just let it pass. So those are 6 tips on how to deal with unsolicited parenting advice. I hope it helped you. And if it did, please do like the video and share it with a friend or family. because it's going to help them as well. Do have a beautiful day. Bye.